She's graced red carpets in flawless couture, stood shoulder to shoulder with Hollywood royalty, and won an Academy Award, but behind Jessica Chastain's glowing smile lies a story of silence, struggle, and a secret pain that could have ended everything before it even began. Born into obscurity and raised by a single mother in Sacramento, California, Jessica's journey to fame wasn't paved with connections or privilege. It was forged in the shadows of poverty, self-doubt, and rejection. How did a shy, red-headed girl with no formal connections in Hollywood become one of the most respected and fearless actresses of her generation? And what personal trauma haunted her just before she stood on the Oscar stage? This isn't just a success story, it's a suspense-filled journey into the world of broken beginnings, perseverance, and a woman who turned silence into strength. Stay with us, because Jessica Chastain's truth is more gripping than any movie she's ever done. Jessica Michelle Chastain was born on March 24, 1977, but her birth wasn't announced in tabloids or celebrated with grandeur. In fact, her early life was marked by absence. Her biological father was not a part of her childhood. Raised by her mother, a vegan chef, and later supported by her stepfather, Michael Hasty, Jessica grew up in a working-class household that often struggled to make ends meet. She was a misfit, plagued by insecurity. She described herself as the girl with red hair and freckles who didn't fit in. School was not a haven either. She skipped frequently and her grades suffered. But then something shifted. At age 13, she saw a performance of Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That play sparked something inside her, a hunger to act, to express, to be someone else, anyone but herself. Yet, even as the dream grew, the world offered no shortcuts. Jessica didn't have industry parents or insider tips. Her family couldn't afford expensive acting schools. But what she had was grit. She began performing in local theater. With fierce determination, she auditioned for Juilliard, one of the most prestigious acting schools in the world. She got in on a scholarship from Robin Williams himself. That moment changed everything. But the path was only beginning. Juilliard taught her craft. But Hollywood didn't care about training, it wanted typecasts. And Jessica didn't fit any mold. She wasn't the bubbly blonde or the sultry brunette. She was cerebral, intense, and deeply emotional. For almost a decade, she was trapped in a cycle of auditions that led nowhere. Casting directors praised her talent but said her look was too different. She got roles in theater, small TV episodes, but no breakthroughs. Years passed, and she remained a ghost in Hollywood's spotlight. The rejection became suffocating. Financially, she was barely surviving. Emotionally, she was on the brink of giving up. But behind the scenes, she never stopped honing her craft. She refused to be molded by the industry's shallow demands. She chose roles with depth, complexity, and pain, characters she understood because she had lived through so much of it herself. Then came the moment that shattered her obscurity. It wasn't just one film, it was an avalanche. In 2011, The Tree of Life alongside Brad Pitt, Take Shelter, and The Help, all in the same year, catapulted her from unknown to undeniable. But fame came with a heavy price. While the world celebrated Jessica's rise, few knew the emotional weight she was silently carrying. In 2003, years before her breakthrough, Jessica's teenage sister Juliet had taken her own life. It was a wound so deep, Jessica rarely spoke about it publicly. But that pain lived in her performances. It shaped her portrayal of grief in the disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, the silent suffering in Zero Dark 30, and the inner torment in Scenes from a Marriage. She once said in an interview, "I am drawn to characters who are broken. Because I think I've been broken." When she finally stood on stage to receive her Oscar in 2022 for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, her speech wasn't about glamour. It was about empathy, mental health, and the importance of love in dark times. Her voice trembled as she spoke, not from nerves, but from the weight of her journey. Jessica's commitment to using her platform for good became central to her identity. She advocated for equal pay, for mental health awareness, for women's rights in the industry. She even founded her own production company to give voice to stories that Hollywood overlooked, especially those written, directed, and led by women. Jessica didn't just survive Hollywood, she rebuilt part of it. Off-screen, Jessica is intensely private. She married Italian fashion executive Gianluca Passi di Prepasolo and welcomed a daughter via surrogate. She rarely posts her personal life online, not out of arrogance, but protection. Because she knows fame is fickle. She's lived on both sides of the curtain, the ignored and the acclaimed. Even now, when directors call her a chameleon or actor's actor, Jessica doesn't bask in the compliments. She returns to set, scripts, and silence, always pushing herself, always remembering the girl in Sacramento who just wanted to be seen. Jessica Chastain's story isn't about luck. It's about pain, perseverance, and powerful purpose. She didn't climb the Hollywood ladder, she rebuilt it, step by step. Jessica Chastain's journey reminds us that strength isn't loud, it's resilient. That fame doesn't erase pain, it reveals character. And that even in the darkest moments, someone, somewhere, is preparing for their breakthrough. If this story moved you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories behind the stars. Drop a comment below, which Jessica Chastain performance hit you the hardest. And always remember, behind every red carpet glow, there's a shadow. But sometimes, those shadows carry the brightest light.